Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
There's always just that active red line defenders. I think it's like. There's always just that active red line defenders. I think it's like.
Big show settings, people. Deluded, I'm back again. When this you is not trolling Arsenal, he's actually a good lad. How you end up becoming a Liverpool fan living in London, I don't know, but big him up nonetheless, man. It is where it is. He's heartbroken around now, but what you saying, Ross, man?
No, I'm good. Big up, bro. Listen, I already told you, my earliest memory is Henry terrorizing us, bro. Remember that 4-2 loss? That 4-2 loss when Henry made them. But that's why I support Liverpool, bro. From that game, Owen and Gerrard, I said, this is my team. But I'm not Arsenal, man. This is my team.
Yeah, you man are going back to them days soon, boy.
God willing.
It's happened, but the new manager bounce is done. He didn't even get to do the M rating, 20-odd games. It's done now, boy.
Real win the other night, though. 3-1 at the San Siro, bro. Like, that's a big win.
Light work. Yeah, I'm sour still. It's, you know, not everyone can win away from home in Italy. Yesterday, it was a madness for us, man. It's a madness. First thing I want to ask you, obviously, I've offered my thoughts about the Atalanta game, but what did you make of it? I'm sure you watched it.
You met my brother in it. The household's Arsenal in it. But do you know what it is? I feel like, you know me, bro. On Twitter, I'm different on stream on Twitter. You get the
See, he shook, people. Look, he shook. He's checked in now. He's checking in now.
I feel like people are going overboard. Yeah, I think, listen, it's a big loss. I think you did lack creativity. I think Havertz, Arteta tried to do the shoehorn thing, put it back in midfield. He's flourished in the 9 role the last 6-7 months. Do you get? And me personally, I wouldn't have done that. I actually would have started Amwari, and I know you might be that it's too premature. People in the chat might be, but he basically gave him the keys. He said, "Look, I want you to deputize behind Odegaard." And it's like, when are you going to give him his chance? You're giving him nigga damn minutes. Do you know what I mean? I feel like some people might say it's a big away game. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, bro, I think sometimes with ballers, yeah, chuck them in the deep end, because we've seen ballers make career out of unfortunate opportunities for other ballers. Like you saw when Rashford come on the scene, I think Rooney got an injury. You've seen it with ballers where someone else's misfortune is their fortune. Do you know what I mean?
Fabio Carvalho at Brentford. You're right, still.
Oh, you're taking the bloody. You see the bicycle kick yesterday, the other night. But
see what? Was that on TV? Well, what did he do? What for Brentford? Man, ain't pretty low.
They got Orient. But
see, tired youths, man. You thought a youth with a perm was gonna make it at Liverpool when they got born. Myth is a myth. Jerry
they're called it life of pad. But the way I see it, the way I see it is, I think cool. I understand the viewpoint where if you chuck Anwari into that game, he has a bad game. Yeah, it might ruin his confidence. His confidence might be knocked. But I feel like ability always shines through. And I rate him highly. And I think give him a run. And the thing is, yeah, for me, it's a lose-lose. Because if he doesn't do well, you pull him back out. If he does well, then Arteta now knows, even when Odegaard comes back, some of the games where Odegaard might have a different form, I can now trust you to start. I think you should have started him. But I think people are going overboard, especially rivals. I think a point away against Atalanta, take it from me, we got smoked by them, man, only 6-7 months ago, bro. But a point away, your first game as well, context it. It's not like it's your 6th or 7th game and you need the points, bro. Your first away game, I feel like people are doing too much, bro. I feel like people are generally doing too much. What I will say, I've always rated Martinelli, but that guy needs to be dropped now.
Wait. Park off the Martinelli thoughts. We've got a segment on him. Park that off for a sec. Park off Martinelli. I think you're bang on the money. It's a mixed bag. Like, I get it, because naturally, I think there's a lot of not bad blood, but we didn't have the transfer market would have loved to. There's injuries at the moment. There's big pressure on Mikel Arteta to deliver a trophy. Of course, we beat Spurs. And when you deep it, we beat Spurs in probably the exact same circumstances that we dropped points yesterday against Atalanta. The only issue is with the way the Champions League format is. Of course, I know you can't win all the games and whatnot, but it's always nice to start the Champions League winning anyways. Draws are not enough. You want to win. Yeah, you know, a draw against Atalanta, like you said, Europa League winners. They smacked you lot last season. They're a lot little fish in this. A lot of us Arsenal fans want, well, not me, but a lot of Arsenal fans wanted mass rotation. You can't run that against Gasperini's men. But for me, it's, you know, I do think the match was quite even. It was there for the taking. I'm quite disappointed in the second half. Honestly, I think we fell off a cliff. I think at best in the first half, we was on it, but we didn't ask any creativity issues of Atalanta. We didn't create anything. And I think Arsenal fans personally, we're looking at it too simple. I think Odegaard's obviously a big miss, like not only in offense, but defense as well. But one man shouldn't be the difference between if you can create chances, you know, and it's a weird one because it's about managing boxes. Obviously, Raya bailed us out, but we quote unquote did kind of manage our defensive box. We're not asking any real questions. So if you're not going to create a lot of chances and, you know, by law of averages bag, then the 2 to 3 chances you do create, you need to put them away, and we haven't got clinical men like that, which we're going to get onto with Martinelli. Which I think in terms of Martinelli's form, you know, at the end of the day, he's gone 6 months, 17 games without a goal or an assist. It's horrible, but I think it's highlighted even more because how many clear-cut chances were there? 2 fell to Martinelli. Saka had a little free kick thing, but that's from a dead ball. It's tired, really and truly, and I don't know if it's what Arteta is demanding of the players individually. I just don't see enough freedom or anything in the final third, and it is a bit jarring. It's like we're very defensive minded, and I love it because it means we can be a lot better as a team, but we're shooting ourselves in the foot. And you mentioned the San Siro. What we've got to play into Milan, we've got to welcome PSG, I believe, in the next game. We now have to beat Dynamo Zagreb and Shakhtar, so it's a mixed bag, man. What do you make of Martinelli? Because it's, you know, I love him, but scary right now, man.
Bro, you heard the way my former manager was speaking about him. I've always rated Martinelli, but would you say it's 18 months? I wouldn't even say it was just last season. I think the back end of the year where you fell off as well, I think he was kind of putting in underwhelming performances.
It's to the point where I think that season he scored goals. Maybe that was a purple patch. That's the way he's moving. I think that season you was bagging.
It was before it was the start.
He's been stinking up the place for a while. Last season was this. This season we're seeing it now. The difference is, it's a weird one for me with Martinelli. Shameless plug, people, but 7 p.m. I got a video coming out about this. It's a weird one because the Spurs game, I think you was good. You just didn't score. I still think you're playing well. You're doing things, but you're not looking polished. You're not making those minor changes. And like you saw yesterday when he's blazed 2 over the bar or the one against Spurs, you're doing the business in the defensive third, in the middle third. You're popping up in the right areas, but you don't look confident. And if I'm honest with you, like the finesse that's required on some of these finishes you're trying to take, you need to work on the training ground, bro, because you're not using the inside of your foot properly. You're not putting your foot through it. It's scary, bro.
That was coming natural to him a couple years ago.
Exactly.
Bro, it's coming off easily, and that's the thing with Martinelli. Like, I've always rated it. I'm not going to be reactionary like these rival fans. Yeah, I still think there's a player there. However, I do feel he needs to be dropped because some people have this perception that when players are in bad form, you need to play them back into good form. But when it's been 18 months, bro,
we've gone past that, yeah.
You know what I mean? The blinkers are on, so I think he needs to be dropped. I still think there's a player there. However, I do feel like he's on his last audition, bro. I think if, let's say Arteta drops him, brings him back into the team, and then he carries on producing stinkers, I think then it might look at maybe squad player, then potentially even exit. How much can we get from him? That might have to be an uncomfortable situation. But I feel like right now, he just needs to be dropped. Then you then ask the Trossard, because I was under the illusion that I've said Trossard your best finisher for a couple of seasons now. The guy's a bad boy. But one thing Arsenal fans are telling me is, Roms, he's not that productive when he starts. I was like, are you sure, bro? Then I've seen him start a string of games and he's not as effective as when he comes off the bench. So it's kind of like you're looking at your left-hand side. Trossard doesn't really start well there. Now you're looking at Sterling. I think Arteta needs to kind of trial and error. However, you're in a title race and you're up against that juggernaut. There's no time to trial and error. Do you know what I mean? There is no time. You've seen us lose titles by a point. Yourself, last season, only I think a point or 2. The margins are fine with Man City. So, listen, this is where he earns his money, because Arteta's got a conundrum these next, I'll say till the next international break, because that left-hand side, if I was an Arsenal fan, for me, it's looking worrying, bro. It's looking worrying because, listen, Razzo's a yard man. Listen, we're going to back it. I don't really like to speak ill of him, but however, I'm seeing him come on yesterday, and I know it's only been 2 games, Spurs game and last night.
I'm not trying to see him play on the right-hand side, I must admit.
Exactly. I'd rather see him on the left.
It's left or nothing, yeah, man. I'm not in it. The right-hand side, I'm not in it.
Word. bro, he was just running to defenders, and he just looked uncomfortable yesterday. I want to see him on the left. I think if you drop Martinelli, play Sterling on the left, Havertz through the middle, what do you call it? Saka on the right, and then see from there. Because obviously we'll probably get onto the weekend game, but the left-hand sides are worried for me at the moment. And a lot of people are saying don't play two DMs in front of your back four with the Partey and Rice yesterday. But I think that's why I actually big up Arteta, because I feel like away from home you have to be defensively solid. And some
definitely have to do that on Sunday.
Back four speaks for itself. But I think that wasn't really a mad call for me. And again, like you said, I think he has to do that on Sunday as well. I think he has.
And I don't think Arteta. I think where Ethan's concerned, I think he's ready technically. Obviously, he's got ability. I don't think he, rightly or wrongly, I don't think Mikel Arteta trusts him tactically. With Martinelli, it gave me a thought based on some of the things you said. I have to wonder, at your best, which we ain't seen for a while with Martinelli, quality player. If Sterling gets back to his best, it's great. If Trossard keeps doing what he's doing, great. Jesus could probably be an option. But if Martinelli has been playing like this for 6 months, right? This is him at his worst. So is him at his worst a better option in Mikel Arteta's mind than starting Trossard on a consistent basis, or what we're yet to see from Sterling, or what we've seen from Gabriel Jesus, who hasn't been fit? So that's probably it. And like you said, it's spooky. This is where I tell Arsenal fans, yeah, we can hide behind the fact that we got 91 Premier League goals last season, which is great. But who was really getting it? Saka did it. Havertz did it in the second half of the season. And Trossard, who, respectfully to Trossard, was a bit part rotation player, as we all saw. So it's like when you start to peel beneath things, it's crazy. And it's a bit like what Inner Circle said in one of his comments, in that obviously it's frustrating to drop points. But I think it's more the performance once we've crossed the line, in the sense of defensively, yeah, Partey, we got out of it, big up David Raya, but generally it was a stalemate. It was a draw is probably the perfect result. It's just we're not creating anything. And of course, once again, we miss Odegaard, but we're not creating anything. We're not asking any real issues. So it's like there's been times where Odegaard's been there and we've said these same questions. So it's a conundrum, really. Again, and when you look at our build-up play, I love the fact that we're solid defensively. We can go long to Havertz. We can kind of find Declan Rice, but Rice is never going to be Paul Scholes. He's never going to be Lampard. Yes, he had a great season last season doing what Rice does naturally, and obviously in that 8 stuff, but that's never been you. Your primarily job is to be a ball winner, a box-to-box man. So it's like we're creating more holes in the squad. As you said, Jesus and Havertz, they were dropping deep and filling in for each other and doing all right, but it just feels like something's missing. I don't want to get too down in the dumps, but it starts to make every game a lot harder in the Champions League, man. It's jarring, bro.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, though, DG? The thing with Rice, and I feel like this is where rival fans can be disingenuous, or you're just not watching him properly. And I said this from even when he was in a West Ham shirt, yeah. If you're expecting him to do the eye of the needle ball, split, break lines, then that's not him. However, he can break lines with his athleticism. I've seen him skip past 2-3 men and just pop it off to Saka or pop it off to Martinelli. I've seen him do it many times. I think Rice breaks down with his athleticism. The only problem is that now, and I know people say, but the back four sturdy, but the only problem is I've seen Rice do that, might get dispossessed, might not necessarily be him, another player, and now they're caught in the count and you've got a hole in the middle. That's the only problem with Rice. But I agree with you. He's primarily a DM. And one thing I'll say about Partey, I think Partey is a bad boy, but it does look like it's coming of age now. It looks like he's
falling off physically, man, 100%.
You know what I mean? And I think it was evident last night. He would never have got skinned 2-3 years ago like that. He would never have got skinned.
Why was he even there? Like, that's not even your natural position. It's like, how strong were we defensively in that moment? Playing with fire a bit, man. You're right.
I hear you, but I just think, I think eventually, when you are unfortunate, the thing is, we know we're going to get injured, and this is why I think a lot of your fans are frustrated with your transfer market. But for me, that's not really on Arteta. I think he had his targets. That's for Edu and the higher ups to deliver. But this is where I'll say it is a bit worrying for Arsenal, because you're unfortunate with the Mourinho coming in and getting injured straight away. But I feel like the balance
when he's back, drop Rice in the 6, man.
Literally, and Partey will have to be. And Partey as a squad player, that is a luxury if you deep it. That's one thing. He's experienced. To have him coming on and shoring up a game. Let's say you're 1-2, you know what? You just need to see out a game. I think that's a nice option to have. But you're right. I think once Mourinho comes in, I've not watched a lot of Mourinho. The last time I saw Mourinho, he was the little man at Newcastle. That's the Mourinho.
No, forget that. He's arrived at Arsenal now. European trophy winner. It's different. You don't know about signing Reeboks, man. You signed Mane when he didn't have a boot sponsorship. You signed Salah when he was a flop. You don't know about Robertson with back-to-back relegations on his CV or something like that, bro. You're not going to make this.
you're gonna make the superstars like us, yeah?
Yeah, we
You're gonna
make,
have the
we
rough
make
diamonds,
superstars. Well, we got bare superstars. Look at Saka, look at Odegaard. We polish them up, man. I want to say Martinelli, but boy, it's spooky for you.
You know what I'll say though, DG? There, similar to Xhaka, yeah, Mourinho would come in kind of trying to replicate what Xhaka did. I'm not saying to the extent, but I think that could also elevate Martinelli as well because I
can't let him past that now with him. You know, I'll be real.
Swear,
You're right. It's factors, stability on the left and that, but it's just you now. It's you now. It's you. Because despite all of this, you're still to a degree. You know, evidently in the final third, you're horrible, but you're still doing a lot of positive things. You're still getting in those positions. So we're quote unquote creating something, whether I'm happy with the scale or not. It's now you, it's all you, Martinelli. Bro, 6 months because Trossard's managed to thrive when he has had minutes with the same stuff we're talking about. It's a cop out for Nelly now, man. I love the guy. I'll defend the guy. I don't even like the fact that I've indirectly made this stream all about him, but it's you, bro. Like, it's you. And I genuinely think he needs to shout Thierry Henry, Ian Wright. You know, I'm sure Jurgen Klopp's got some German dons that can help you. Someone after training, it's 1v1. It's 1v1 against a goalie and a defender because you don't look confident. And it's like you're not taking the chances, right? Like, I can't tell a professional footballer anything about taking chances. I don't know how you're skying those chances. I don't know how you did what you did against Spurs. And it's been a regular theme. Even don't get twisted, even when Martinelli was bagging and these sentiments weren't happening, he's been known to kind of miss chances you shouldn't. He's a bit like Gabriel Jesus in a sense that them man will score a difficult goal, but the easy ones, the ones that get you those 15, 20 goals a season, they're not rising that up. And that's the difference between them and Saka. There was a point where I've always thought Saka's better, but they were kind of in the same realm. I genuinely believe Martinelli needs to make serious progress or you're going to be like this for the rest of your life. And I always call him Alexis Sanchez, but it's a myth. It's a myth.
You're spot on with that. I feel like players like Jesus and Martinelli, they need high volume of chances to even bag one. Do you know what I mean? They need 4 or 5 chances to even bag one. But like you said against the Spurs game, that I was saying to my brother when watching it 2 years ago, he takes that closer to when he come out, he takes that closer to the goal and literally finesses it, or he just squares it to Saka. But it's like now he's getting in that final third, and I feel like he's overthinking things, honestly. But yeah, I think I can't it's looking scary because if this was only like 2 months of bad form, you could just call it form. But when it's like we said earlier, when it's 18 months, bro, yeah, it's not looking good for him personally. It's not looking good for him at all.
I think you're bang on the money. And propaganda machine, I respect your opinion, but I don't think Arteta's throwing him under a bus, man. I think if anything, he's shown faith because at the end of the day, he's still playing. And I think that makes me ask questions of Edu and Mikel Arteta, because if we're relying on Martinelli and he's still a first name on the team sheet, how do you rate Sterling? Fair enough, Sterling's just signed for the club. Where do you truly see Trossard in the grand scheme of things? Because you can't rate him that much because you don't really see him as a star. Of course, he's versatile. He started in the North London derby and whatnot, but you can't rate him that much, really. And that's the thing. There's too many unanswered questions. I like Kai Havertz. I think no one at Arsenal could agenda him. Are you going to get 20 league goals? Martinelli, are you going to get back to form? Gabriel Jesus, are you going to stay fit, let alone score goals? Unless your name is Bukayo Saka in that final third, anything you do is a positive surprise, bro. The only things that I can say is cool is defensively we'll get X amount of clean sheets. There's a lot more steel. There's a lot more resilience. But then it comes back to squad depth. And then I know what you're saying about Edu and you know, Edu might have shortchanged Mikel Arteta, but at the end of the day, you all got to hold that, man. As I said it on my stream yesterday, I've got a lot of sympathies for our Arsenal fans and, you know, the players, but any knock-on effects as to how we play because of what we have or haven't done in the transfer market or injuries, bro, Arteta's got to hold that. You've got to make it work, man. You've got to make it work. Like someone said here, I don't know if it's true, but we've only scored 1 goal from open play in 5 games. I love the set pieces. I love the defensive stuff, but creativity, bro. That's spooky. That's spooky. And I'm not saying we need... Yeah, like I'm not saying we need to wake up and start playing Wenger ball and being naive defensively and stuff, but the fluidity needs to get there because these are not bad players.
Word to what someone said in the comments, big up whoever it was, I can't remember exactly, but I know you would take this. Let's say you went through the season with 1-0 wins or 2-1 wins and it won you the league. You're not going to business at the end of the day because you even grew up on 1-0 to the Arsenal. Yeah,
if
big
it
up
wins, though.
Yeah, that's the big question. If it wins, do you know what I mean? But listen,
and what's he going to win though? Is that a sustainable way to win a Premier League trophy? Like, don't get twisted. The Spurs game, the Aston Villa game, 5 times a season, you're going to get those kind of performances. But if it persists, can you really do that for 25 of the 38 games? And even last season, we had this issue like this around this time last season. I'm so sure all the talk was around the striker and scoring chances, but converting chances was one thing. Creating, I think we've gone back to that. If I'm honest with you, man, it's jarring.
And that's the thing, because correct me if I'm wrong, it was Partey, Rice, and Trossard starting in the middle, innit?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you want Trossard in that final third. Like, I was seeing Trossard pick up the ball in the middle and just not really. Bro, do you know who actually was your biggest creator the last 20 minutes? And so annoyed me so much we didn't get him. I was seeing Calafiori pick the ball up from deep and just drive in the middle. But I think he even created a chance where he popped it off. I think he's
looked good in his cameos, man.
This is what I was going to ask you, actually, and this is for the chat as well. I think you don't have a bad boy headache in Timber and Calafiori, but is it horses for courses, or do you have a permanent starter on that left?
It's horses for courses. Right now, obviously, they both kind of had their own fitness issues. It's Timber's spot to lose, but any messing about, you've got Calafiori in there, man. I think Calafiori's pushing. He's just unfortunate that you got Timber. He looks good, man.
I'm envious, bro. To have both of them as your left backs, bro. Yeah, that's one.
No, it's different. It's not just left backs. Have some respect to my guys. They can play everywhere, but we got lit guys.
Yeah, they're versatile. Fair enough.
It's different, man. You look back if you want.
No one's allow it, man. No one's displacing. The reason why I'm saying left backs because no one's displacing Saliba and Gabriel, bro. Like
even that, this is something that's been a shout with Arsenal fans. Like, I do think it's overblown, but people are saying, "Oh, Benjamin White, someone who typically plays all the time for us, could he lose his spot to Timber temporarily?" And Calafiori comes in. I want to see Tomiyasu back. I don't think Tomiyasu starts ahead of them, but to bring him on in games, like I'd love to have him in the squad for City, but he's not available.
You know, big up propaganda machine, but. You lot watch your team more than me, but has White been that? Like, I've been seeing some people saying White's had a kind of shaky start, but when I've seen you lot play, and I do watch you lot quite a bit, White seemed all right to me, bro. Like
that's the thing, he's doing all right.
Yeah, and that's probably that the bar's low for him, especially after the couple campaigns he's had. All right's not good enough, I suppose, but I really watched White and thought, the players I've watched this season and thought you're not up to the standard you should be. Is your Rice's in certain games, your Partey's in certain games, your Martinelli's. But I haven't looked at Ben White and thought, you've had a shaky start. You know what I mean?
I think it's harsh on White, man, because it's like everyone's wowed by Calafiori in his cameos. Timber is actually wowing. 6 out of 10. White's just doing his job. When you're not standing out and doing things crazy, you're naturally people are going to ask for you. But this is where you need a squad. And I just wish our club had the same sort of mentality around having strong defensive options as we would in the middle or final third, because we ain't got that. We haven't got that. Gabriel Jesus is looking very, very scary. Martinelli is looking scary. Kai, I actually feel within your limitations, you're doing your job. Like, I can't ask it. Like, it gets to a point I can't ask anymore. Like, Kai Havertz is not going to wake up, and I hope to be wrong, but be that 20-goal man. He's not going to be a creative machine. You're someone that mucks in, gets a lot of touches, very good at running in behind. You're doing what you can. How you're being utilized, how the team's being set up, that's on there. Again, David Raya has performed for us. And again, even that, we talk about our defensive displays and how good the defenders are. Last season, Raya didn't have this many highlights this early in the season. We didn't see Raya. Now we're seeing Raya called into action too much. I do think we played very well defensively against Spurs, but we didn't have too much to do. If anything, in all the games we played, we're praising our defenders. Shout out to Saka and Havertz. But are we really that stable defensively if they're called to make all these last-ditch tackles and things? Big up Saliba for yesterday as well, because he had a little incident. So it's like, are we really as solid defensively as we make out? I don't know. It's crazy.
I hear you, bro. I hear you. Like, I feel like you're having a few hiccups, but then this is when I'll bring it back to, like you said, I know you speak about sustainability, but this is when I'll bring it down to like the proof in the pudding. You lot still, maybe, again, you're looking at things finer details as being an Arsenal fan, but from the outside looking in, you're still not conceding like that. The Brighton game, I would admit, if Rice didn't get sent off, I think you probably keep a clean sheet in that. I know you're looking at the finer details, but you still have looked somewhat defensively solid. And I think the silver line with this is there still is room for improvement. Do you know what I mean? But I think people forget we're still at the start of the season and you still not conceded like that. So I hear what you're saying, but then you've got to look at what's actually happened, what's in front of you. And the facts are you've hardly conceded yet again. And you're naming all these things and you still haven't conceded at that. So that's the silver lining to it. But when you're saying it's sustainable for 38 games, I hear it from that perspective. I hear it because there's going to be them games where it's on a knife's edge and you literally need the creativity, you need a man that can bag. But one of my hot takes is how much league goals did Havertz get last year? 13, 14,
12, 13.
My hot take is he'll probably get 15 to 20. Then some people will ask.
Oh, I don't know about 20, bro. I think you could get 12, 13.
You don't think you can get 15 plus? Because
You can get 15 because you're going to play a lot of games. But the 20, oof, I don't know. I have to see it. I have to see it.
The thing is, the mistake your fans made, is people think football's linear, and people think football's like what happened last season is exactly going to happen the next season. I think with that 22 to 23 season, I feel like Arsenal fans assumed that Saka and Havertz would have that upward, not Saka, Havertz, sorry, Saka and Martinelli would have that upward trajectory, because even, I want to bring it back to my club, even when we won the league, Firmino wasn't a bagsman like that, but where we
you had them monsters, man. I always give you lot as an example. You had them monsters, bro. Salah was you lot Saka, and then you had the next one on the left.
Exactly, and the difference is Martinelli and Saka are 4 or 5 years. They've not even hit their prime yet, where we had a Salah and a Mane either in or entering their prime. And I think Arsenal fans, I remember the summer 23 saying we'll win the league and that. And when you're asking them, like, oh, we don't need, bro, I remember the narrative, not necessarily by yourself, but by the majority of your fans. And this ain't even Twitter fans. These are men I actually speak to in real life that were saying, I have a feeling we have a good chance of winning the league, because I think man were assuming that Martinelli and Saka would both go on that trajectory. And when one isn't, and then you don't have that 9 that bags, and you're relying on one man in that front line to score you all them goals, that's when you run into problems. And I truly believe if Havertz could have had his last 6 months as his first 6 months last season, things could have been different for you lot. Because that's a player, I'm not going to be reacting. That's a player I've always rated from Chelsea, but they just didn't have a good system. And I said, I weren't one of the man to say, oh, once Arsenal sign Havertz, this is a bum. I kind of knew he would flourish. Don't get twisted. The last 3-4 months, I'm going to do what Arab fans have to do. I'm going to troll him. But I knew eventually he would get it right, because there's always been a player there. But whether he brings you to the league, yeah, it is looking a bit mad. But I truly believe DG can get between 15 and 20 league goals, especially with Saka again. But this is also dependent on Saka staying fit, because you know Kazi's going to play him 90 minutes. That's one thing I'm going to give Arteta credit for. As much as we didn't like seeing Sterling on the right, he took Saka off, bro. This is breaking news. He took Saka off because this is something that is alien to him. He never takes Saka off. And I feel like he did have, I'm going to be real, from like the 70th minute, he had an eye on that City game, 100%. He thought, Saka, I can't afford nothing mad happening to you, because you're our only outlet to win. I think if you don't win this weekend, it will be down to Saka. Saka will have a big role in it, bro. Big role in it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not Harvey Elliott and that. The man, they turn up in the big games. You know what Saka's on, man. You know what Saka's on, man. Real starboy.
He's injured. Why are you going to bring up Harvey Elliott, bro? He's injured now.
Have to, or Curtis Jones, or who else you lot got, man? I don't know. Like, you lot starboys. You ain't really got youngsters like that. Serious guys, man. You lot got Van Dijk. I got a young centre back at my club. The crown's coming off soon, you know. You see the way Saliba's talking. He might not be at our club, but he's coming for that crown, man. But yeah, let's move on. A team that did win in Italy, you lot, man. What did you make of it? Because I actually feel as a neutral watching it, I think first 10, 20, AC Milan were excited. It felt like you lot found it difficult to figure them out. But once you figured them out, it was gone, in it. You saw what happened. Obviously, couple ugly goals, but it doesn't matter in the champs. The job got done. And you lot were in control for the second half and everything excluding the first 10 for me. But as a Liverpool fan,
literally what you said, bro, first 10, 15 minutes. The reason why I was frustrated, because not only they scored, but the same thing happened another 2 occasions after that, where our centre-backs were engaging too much, and then they were just popping it off in behind. I remember Reinders went wide and cut it back, and then obviously Pulisic scored. But, bro, after the first 10, 15 minutes, bro, we went back to what I know. Not the game before, which I went to, and it was just headache.
Oh, don't worry. Don't run nowhere. We're going to talk about Hudson and Sir letting Hudson-Odoi score. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It went back to what I saw the first 3 games, because one criticism I'll have of Klopp is that in his latter years, I'll say the last 2 seasons, we were too defensively open, but there was many factors. We had an Asian midfield that we didn't replace, and then when we finally did have the mass exodus and bring in midfielders, they then had to gel, which last season they did somewhat.
You lot had Enzo, Bellingham, Tchouameni, Caicedo. What do you mean Asian midfield? I thought you lot signed all them man there, but go on, bro. I thought you lot signed all them man.
You're taking the mic, but bro, back to the Milan, this guy, bro. Back to the Milan game, yeah. Bro, after 15 minutes, we took a chokehold of the game, bro. I think what Slot does, I don't know if rivals of Klopp, but with the Klopp team, everyone will kind of go gung-ho, but he's more defensively solid. What he does is Gravenberch and McAllister will hold.
He's having a great season.
Yeah, Gravenberch. I'm still not with one of them fans that's saying they're still not getting 6, though, because if he goes down now, we're back to the end. Do you know what I mean? We're back to square one, like you said. But I think we play a 4-2-4 now where we have 2 man protecting the back 4 and we'll have 4 just pressing. So you have Szoboszlai, you'll have Diaz, Jota, and Salah, all 4 of them just pressing. So if the press does get beat, which it happened a few times in the Ipswich game, Brentford didn't really happen. United were beating the press the first 10 minutes. But if it is, we have that defensive security with the 2 instead of just 1, because we were having Fabinho on his last legs defending 1. And that's why in the season, his last season, you saw us just getting decimated through that midfield bit. But after the first 15, we are battering them pillar to post, bro. They genuinely couldn't live with us. They genuinely couldn't live with us. And Salah's hitting the bar twice. You know, we were knocking on the door, and we turned into you lot. We turned into to Arteta, the set piece thing, because, bro, first 2 goals was 2 set pieces. You know what I mean?
It's got to be done, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, away from home, I think, especially in Europe, I don't really care how we play. Just get the result. Do you know what I mean?
Get the result, bro.
Do you know what I mean? And two set pieces. Suppose I get this goal, which you know me, I can be objective about this player. I think he's just not Liverpool quality. But up until his goal, he was stinky. But it's like from his goal, it was like Jekyll and Hyde. He was making it throughout the season. I think the biggest thing with Szoboszlai is his IQ, because a lot of fans will say he's not good at anything. I think he's got a strike on him. You've seen it for Leipzig. You've seen it when he goes to his country. You've even seen it in early stages for us, because the first 2 months of us, everyone was saying, "No, they've signed the baller we thought." Then, bro, everything after that October period, it was just stinky. But I think with him, his decision making from his goal was excellent. Gravenberch doing what Gravenberch does, bro. I've always said I think he should be more in the 8 role, because he's got the attributes. He receives it on the half turn. He's got an eye for goal. He's good in tight spaces. They play him in the 8. But then my brethren was like, hold on, but that's qualities of a 6 as well. But I was like, when you got players with that ability, I want him closer to goal than further away. But then, you know, with a 6, if you receive the ball deep, you've got a wider view of the game. So we're blessed to have a player that can play both. But I think, I know you're going to run banter now, but if we was to get that Zubimendi or that 6 that can collect and have him further up next to McAllister, bro, it would have been long. But obviously we don't have that, so you have to make do. And that's when I give credit to Slot, because he's recognized Gravenberch's abilities, played him in that 6. And for me, it's only Szoboszlai stinking in the middle at the moment. But the front 3, Diaz had a good start. Obviously, he didn't start this game. He's had a good start to season, bar the Forest game. Salah doing what Salah does. And Jota, listen, that's my gun, man, but he's not been good this season. He's not. He needs to be dropped. So I'm not all saying about Martinelli. I feel like he needs to be dropped. And then, you know, that guy, once one goes in, it'll be like a domino effect. He'll start scoring again. But he's not been good. Even in the United game, I think he was our worst player on the pitch, even though we won 3-0. I know he bagged against Ipswich, but he has not had, for me, a good game just yet. But I'm not going to switch on him. The minute he gets dropped out of the team, he gets that fire in his belly again and he scores. That's it, bro. That's it. But I was gassed about the AC Milan win, because San Siro, listen, one of the historic grounds, not easy to go to.
Nasty ground to go to.
Nasty, bro. We got the job done, bro. We got the job done. So I'm happy. Then I think our next game's Bologna at Anfield. And if hopefully that should, you listen, I said it should be on the weekend just gone. Football's not like that, bro. Coulds and shoulds don't always happen. But now, bro, hopefully we get 2 out of 2 and yeah. Classified, I hear you, bro. I actually hear this, but I suppose that can be very frustrating, bro. Very frustrating. But this weekend, I would make a few changes, to be fair. What
do you make of Rafa Leao's performance? Because I'm not gonna lie, I think he's a talented player, but I think he's overrated. I think he's definitely got ability, great on the transition, good 1v1. There's a player in there, but you're like a champagne Rashford. Your decision maker is better than Rashford's, but you know, respectfully to Trent, Trent's a baller, world class in his position. One thing Trent isn't world class at is the defensive attributes. We saw nothing with Trent defensively in the San Siro game. You had an inability to test him, and when you're talking about 100-odd million quid. For Leao, I think there's a player in there, and if we signed him, I wouldn't be against it, especially with Martinelli's form. But I think it's one that the casual fans glaze over. Really, there's no, like, when you break it down, he's a bit overrated to me. But as someone that watched 90 minutes against your club, what are you saying for him?
Bro, you hit the nail on the head. I've said with Leao, I'm not gonna come in and say he's a bum or he's this or that. I feel like with modern day football fans, if you call someone overrated, they automatically think, oh, you're calling him bad. It's not that, bro.
Exactly.
You call someone overrated, he's got ability, but I just feel like people are rating it to putting him on a higher pedestal than he's at. Bro, I know some Liverpool fans saying Trent dealt with Leao. He didn't even deal with Leao. He didn't have to. Do you know what I mean? Leao, for me, he's one of them players, and it's worrying, that think they're better than they are. And that's a big problem, because if you've got players that think they're better than they are, how much are they really going to improve? Because they already think he's him. Do you know what I mean?
Thinks he's messed, yeah.
Exactly, bro. So yeah, bro, I think the performance was stinky. I'm surprised he didn't get hooked, in my opinion. But yeah, he's one of them players I just think's overrated, bro. He thinks he's better than he is. And I think he's gonna be one of them players that has an underwhelming career. I think he's won a league already. I can see him being one of them players that stay at Milan longer than he should because him thinking he's better than what he is. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, big up Rance, but Rance told me the reason why he hasn't left it. I was like, there's a reason why clubs haven't signed him. And he's like, no, apparently he has a mad release clause as well. Like he has a mad release clause that clubs aren't really going to pay. But listen, if clubs think you're worth a certain sum, everyone has a price. And if clubs think he's worth that, they will pay that. And I just think he'll be at Milan for a while because I don't think he's that player he thinks he is. And I think he can get there, but his application needs to be better. And he needs to humble himself a bit. That's all it is with Leao. There's a player there, but I feel like people are just overrating him. They just need to take time with him, and he needs to look at himself in the mirror. That's my opinion on Leao, man.
What have you made of Onslaught so far and you lot's own title races? Because don't get twisted, you lot are thrown into this agenda. It's not just Arsenal. When City win the league, we're coming for you lot as well, for all of us bottling it. We're all in this together. Like, what you made of Onslaught?
A lot of our fans are shying away from expectation. My expectation is still to win this league because you can't tell Trent, Alisson, Van Dijk, Robbo, all these men that have won everything. Yeah, we're just going for top four. Listen, four world-class players, all of them have 12 months left as it is, bro. So you definitely can't be telling them we're just on the top four race. But with Slot, my expectation is to win the league. However, I don't think we will because to ask him to win his first Premier his first season would be mad, but still go for it. Do you get it? There's a way, there's a manner in which you can lose a title race. And I know some people might use Conte and Mourinho as examples, but they had previous. Mourinho had Mourinho before he went Chelsea had a UEFA Champions League and a UEFA Cup and a league title. Conte had won X amount of stuff in Italy. They had previous. Arnslot's only won that sole league title. So exactly. And look, there's a certain other manager at United that done that as well. And look how his things ended up. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not using that as a barometer. Do you know what I mean? But
at least your manager's got a league title, man. Like mine's got pickpockets and all these things. I'll big him up though, man. Big him up, big up Arteta. I like it, but we need that.
Sound systems that trainer got. You think you know you're Arteta, you know if you don't win anything, if he won stuff, all these stuff wouldn't matter. But when he's trying all these things and there's nothing on the table, it's mad. But back to Slot, the main thing that I rate him for is how defensively solid we look, bro. And again, I keep saying bar Forest and that first 10 minutes against AC Milan, the proof's in the pudding. You've seen it. I think before the international break, it was 8 goals, no goals conceded, bro. And I think the main change is that he leaves 2 of our midfielders behind the ball. Klopp was having 5-man press and leaving Fabinho solely by himself, knowing that he had counterparts in your Milners, in your Hendersons that couldn't run as well. So it was just a shit show all over. But with Slot, he's got a younger midfield and he's just leaving to them. If you see us press, right, grabbing back to McAllister don't really press. They might cover spaces, but they're not pressing. It's our front 4, and we rarely get beaten. Our press rarely gets beaten, but if it does, you have that security. Brentford done it a few times with Vissa and Bremo, and United actually done it first 10 minutes. But I think the main
once point again, Hudson-Odoi scored.
And we're going to speak about that game because this is where he actually got it wrong. But overall, if I'm speaking,
I want to hear about this. People say I don't like Hudson-Odoi. I want to see him get his flowers, man. Nuno Espirito Santo and that is crazy. It's crazy.
But the 5 out of 5, the main thing I give Slot is that we look defensively solid, bro. That was one criticism I think most Liverpool fans will give Klopp in his last few years. We were getting exposed easy. It was easy to run for us. But, bro, that Forest game is where you got it wrong because this is where I'll speak on it now. We played that game like we were already 2-0 ahead. You could see the first 10 minutes we were actually on them, and it's like, let's rest on our laurels. The goal will inevitably come. Bro, Premier League, any game, you can't have that. You can't go into games thinking you're just going to win. Yes, you'll have lesser opposition, but you can't have that mindset.
You have to kill the game where it kills you, man.
Literally, bro. And I think the subs were evident of that because McAllister, he's our biggest creator, in my opinion, from the midfield, right? And he was right. He spent more time on the floor than on his feet. I'll be real. The theatrics, and you know them Argentinian man and them South American man, they love all the theatrics and that. But he wasn't having a great game. However, when you have good players like that, even if they're having a bad game, they still have that moments of brilliance that they can spin a game on its head. He took McAllister off, and then he's put Trent in the midfield and played a back 3. Now he's took both our fullbacks off as well in Trent and Robbo. Robbo was getting cooked by Elanga when he came on, but bro. Nuno, this is where I have to big up Nuno's tactical nous, because he's thought they took off their two best fullbacks, gone to a back three, so they're trying to pack the midfield, but it will leave them exposed on the counter. He's then flang on Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, and it was curtains from them, bro. It was genuinely curtains from them. Bradley got literally, I think Hudson-Odoi, every attempt to dribble was successful. We actually got away with one. I don't know if you watched Match of the Day. I don't know if Match of the Day showed it though. They should have had a penalty as well. Bradley tugged, what's his name? Hudson-Odoi just before he scored. Elanga and Hudson-Odoi just kept running past our fullbacks, but there was already space there because we were packing the midfield. I think Morgan Gibbs-White, a player who I think rate quite highly. First half, he weren't really involved in the game. The minute he saw the man them come on and he saw that they were packing the midfield, that was it, bro.
He got inspired.
Literally, that's where Slot got it wrong. I think the subs, I wouldn't say, a lot of our fans are saying he got the starting 11 wrong. You're not going to fix what's not broken. I know we had come back from an international break, but we hadn't conceded in our first 3 games. We were scoring. It's not like we were winning 1-0 and whatnot. We were scoring quite freely. You're not going to fix what's not broken. Yeah, we had international break players come back, but I don't really like that excuse. You're professionals, bro. You come back to your team and you do what needs to be done. So for me, it was the subs that killed us. And also, it wasn't even just the fault. It wasn't even just the defensive subs as well, though. For me, you leave Diaz on. Again, you know what? Everyone bar Konate and Gravenberch played poor that game. I think Konate and Gravenberch were the 2 men that actually could leave the picture. You know what? We actually left it all out there. But Diaz, you don't take him off. Yeah, he can still do something on the pitch. Gakpo came on that left and didn't do much. Nunes, the less I speak on that guy, the better. That's a guy you saw me.
Doesn't seem Slot rates him, you know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Slot rates him like that.
Come up today and said Nunes knows he'll get his chance, needs to keep working hard. But when a manager starts using it's long, and bro, he was linked with a lot of clubs this summer. I've already accepted this is Nunes' last year. I think he could potentially even be gone in January, bro. Honestly, I reckon he could be gone in January. But big up Ali. You can tell Slot don't rate him, but the subs got it wrong. For me, the subs got it wrong that game. And we played the game that we were 2-0 ahead. Hopefully it's a blip, but this is why I said I need to see what we do tomorrow, because if we now drop points again tomorrow, it's now worrying signs back to back at home. But
nah, man. Who you lot got? Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth at home.
Big up Bournemouth and Areola in that, but yeah, you lot are gonna want to react. The players are gonna want to put it well. I do think Bournemouth will give you a good game, but nah, you'll rub them out, man. If I'm honest.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Other than that Forest game was embarrassing. I hope it was just a blip. I ain't used to losing at home, bro. Klopp didn't lose at home for 3 years. And now we've lost 3 out of our last 6, if you're going off back of last season as well. So Anfield ain't really a fortress nowadays, bro. The proof's there. So we just need to get back to winning ways. And the reason why especially we need to get back to winning ways, again, we're going to speak on later on in the stream, is because our 2 title rivals are going head-to-head, bro. So points will be dropped. You know,
I don't know if Arsenal in the title race. I don't look at the league table. For me, winning the title is just seeing my team improve week in, week out, man. Seeing the players improve, seeing what Arteta is doing. Very innovative stuff, man. Like, we just got to keep working hard, man. But you're right.
Fair enough. But cool. If you're going off last season on paper, the 2 teams that finished above us are locking horns, and points will be dropped.
So down. Arsenal finished what? We didn't win the league. We second then. I never knew that, bro.
You know you're second, but yeah, man, that's another reason why. And I feel like after winning as well, will kind of put pressure on the both of you, because I think if you speak to sensible Arsenal and City fans as well, you may not rate our depth. We've got a new manager, but you still know we're up there. We're not like the Chelseas, the Villas, the Spurs and whatnot. That's what I've said. I predict us to finish 3rd, but be on our own island. We might not be with yourself and City just yet, but man are putting us in top 4 races, bro. And so respect us.
Nah, you lot be there. You was there last year in a transitional period for Klopp, where it shocked me when Klopp came out and said, I'm cutting. I thought that might have, I don't know, maybe it didn't. On one hand, I think the players just get on with stuff. But on the other hand, maybe that puts some sort of complacency when your gaffers just come out and said, I'm leaving at the end of the season. You are right, though. It does put pressure, because for me as an Arsenal fan, one thing that peed me off last season was this rhetoric as we lost this. We played for a draw against City, so we didn't win the league. Yeah, it would have been nice if we scored. But if you go back to that game at the Etihad, we had half chances. Now, I can't do the ifs and buts stuff, but had we have scored, we've got 1-0. As you know, very fickly, the narrative changes. And for me, it's a sense of you could lose to City or drop points against City. It's the 2 games against Villa, the Newcastles. I don't naturally believe this, but we did take the lead at Anfield and we didn't come with 3 points, so we could throw that into the ring. West Ham at home. It's these kind of games. I'm going to be honest though, it would be nice to get into those circumstances where I am not shocked if Arsenal win at the Etihad, because as good as last season was, we got a point. We still ain't won there. Anfield's the same. We still haven't won. If you lot go and play City at the Etihad, or they come to Anfield and they win and whatever team wins or loses, there's not really that many talking points. Now, if beyond the obvious, if we win at the Etihad on Sunday, that is going to be something. We haven't won there since 2015. Arteta might have even still been a player then. It was Francis Coquelin and Santi Cazorla. Away from the title stuff.
We ain't won this since 2015 as well, bro. That's why when you got that meal, bro, we ain't won at Etihad since Klopp's first season, bro.
That shocks me, bro. I wouldn't have thought you lot would have been around there.
The thing is, we beat them.
But then it shows you that people do too much about that. Then
we've won there, but it was in the Champions League. It wasn't in the league. Do you get? And it's a thing where. That's why, you know, when you lot drew that game, I was at big up Arteta, bro, because I feel like rivals want you lot to go gun-ho then to get slapped, bro. That's not how it goes. And I grew up, my uncles and my dad telling me, I grew up old-fashioned where your title rivals, you can get a point away from home, just beat them at your place. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you've done. It's just don't lose away from home. Make up
the difference against the other teams.
Literally, bro. So I always said Arsenal lost the league.
And if you can't win, don't lose.
Literally, bro. And for me, I keep saying it like you said, Arsenal lost the league at your Fulham's, your West Ham's, your Aston Villa's. You weren't against City, bro. Because, bro, even when we won the league and when we went close to City, we never won there, but we made sure we got the business done at Anfield or didn't lose at Anfield. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you lot go pragmatic again and take a 0-0 draw at Man City, 4 points out of 6, and man was saying that you're going to lose both games back to back, including myself. You know me. I didn't think you would win last weekend. So, bro, I think
it's normal, man. Yeah. I don't know how dare you for that. I need to get on to you about that. Why do you think we'd win against have manners and have some respect? Spurs are not serious, man. Like, come on, bro. We could have went there with Ethan, with Lewis Skelly, even with like Max Dowman, 14-year-old. Would have dealt with. Spurs are not good.
I don't even
know. Bro, he's some young player. He's 14 playing for under 19s. He played in the youth league, but
we don't under 19s. And he's 14.
I told you, we got real star boys. It's different. Our team is different. It's very different. It's very different. But Spurs is not serious like that. Now, if the City game was last game, it's a weird one because I think whether we win or lose, I personally think there's going to be a degree of defending. I think both teams are going to cancel each other out. I think everyone can become accustomed to Arsenal versus City. It sounds good on paper. In terms of a quality football game, it's horrible, really. Both teams are canceling each other out. Both two good tactical managers. It just comes down to the chances. Now, I think personally, Haaland's due a goal against us because we've kept him quiet. I just don't know if we're going to take our chances. I have all the faith in the Sakas and the Havertzes and the Martinellis, but I don't know. You lot are not as clinical. I don't know if Kevin De Bruyne will or won't be there. I think Gundogan's going to have a big say in the game. I think midfield and defensive third, I'm kind of confident. It's just chance creation and chance conversion, because no matter what, that's what wins games. You can be as great defensively as you want. You have to win those games, and I don't know if we're going to do that. And again, I don't know what Arteta is going to do. I think the only thing I could guess is, you're going to see Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, probably Benjamin White. I do want to get Calafiori in there, but I think Timber deserves to start. Midfield, does he bet on Jorginho? Because a part of me saying, do you know what? I hear it if you're going to play Gabriel Jesus up front. I personally think yesterday was an audition for Jesus. Like, if he did something of significance, it's not only minutes in the legs. Arteta might have said, you know what? I'm going to run you against City on Sunday. I'm now starting to believe, as my bias would be Declan Rice and Partey, because I think they're two of the better players on paper. But I think Declan Rice works a lot better with Jorginho, and it's kind of high risk, high reward. But a part of me feels Declan Rice, Jorginho. Honestly, I don't know who gets that third spot in midfield, whether it's Trossard again, whether you go for Ethan, whether you go with Havertz and then have Jesus. This is where the issues, and this is where I don't want to keep waffling about it, because January is a long time away, and obviously we just come out the market. But this is where I look at my club in the summer and say, what we're doing. Because you could, again, reactionary, but with a direct replacement for Odegaard, with another left winger. We couldn't get Nico Williams, but a Nico Williams, we're looking at this very differently. Even someone like a Isaac, if we got Isaac and you put Havertz up front, Isaac's going to get one chance and pull it away, or anybody else. So Sunday's a techie one, man. I'll take a point. I'll be real. I'll take a point.
I was going to ask you about your midfield three, yeah. And it's something I was speaking to my boy about, even a starter last summer. You see Jesus, could you see him playing that 8 role? And I say that to say this year, he's not that prolific in goal. I see him as that Mateus Cunha type where they're not prolific, but they got that engine. They can run through the midfield. They can beat players. They can create something. You'll never hear me dissing Gabriel Jesus. That he's a baller. He's not a striker, but he's a baller, bro. You can't watch Jesus and think that guy can't ball. But why wouldn't you have him in that left 8 role? Because he's got
you can't. The midfield team. It's the same way I look at it with Trossard. Honestly, I don't think there's a direct answer. It's just you, man, not centre mids. If anything, Jesus, you play in the 10. You play in the 10 or the left wing, occasionally up front. I want proper midfielders, man. If he wants to do the Partey and Rice thing, great. I think it's one for Jorginho because Jorginho, for all his criticisms, doesn't get too excited, keeps his head in difficult moments, keeps things ticking over. Like even with the Spurs game, we're all talking about the Martinelli chance and the lack of creativity. Who played that? Who helped play? Well, it was Trossard who played it into Martinelli, but who kind of said it? It was Jorginho. And I do think our Arsenal fans have been doing too much with Partey, but there's a lot of space in behind. I think the difference between Jorginho and Partey is Jorginho's a lot more humble in the sense of he's recognized, yo, I'm losing my legs a bit. Let me stay back. Partey still thinks that when you go, if we go and play 11 aside now, you still think you were the same. You think you could do things you can do at 18. You're knackered, you're tired. Partey's going through that. He's not learned, man. So it's difficult, man. I do think Kai Havertz, I don't know, does he play up front? Because I do think Arteta was using the Atalanta game as a prototype.
I keep saying to Arsenal fans, if he's bagging at the rate he's bagging, bro, you play him there. And this is where Arteta needs to earn his money. He needs to find a formula that works until Odegaard comes back in that midfield role. Because say what you want about Kai Havertz. For me, he's justified that 60 million so far.
He's doing his job.
Won the league. Exactly, he's doing his job. Man, he's come in and played. The thing is, and like I said, it's back to fine margins. Yeah, I feel like if Arteta worked out the Havertz formula earlier in the part of last season, who knows what your fortunes would have been? Because remember, I think he didn't get it correct until the November, December.
Let's be honest about Arteta. Obviously, versatility is a big part of signing players. You tried to make him a midfielder. You tried to run the centre mid. Havertz. He didn't bang. You had to dash him up front. It worked. That's where I think the issues are. And Havertz's problem is there are games we're going to have to do that. But then there's been games where Havertz has gone midfield and it ain't been pretty. But game to game, you can work with it. Because you've got Odegaard dropping deep or making up the difference, Havertz is still running in behind. Yesterday, you kind of saw that with him and Jesus, but you haven't got a creative hub. That's where I think we miss Odegaard. But that's where I look at the manager because one player going out of the team shouldn't really affect how much chances you create. But, obviously, we're not City. But Kevin De Bruyne or not, they can create chances all over the field. I know it's very different. I've seen Wenger popping, playing some exciting football. Not as great defensively, but playing some exciting football with players who don't have the ability that we have now. So is Arteta thinking a bit too much defensively, which I don't mock because we're a lot solid. I'm here for it. But is there too much focus on being defensively solid and not enough in the final third? Is there enough? I'm starting to believe now, is there enough freedom? Because it's a double-edged sword. I like the fact that Mikel Arteta micromanages everything, tells the players what they do to do. They've all got an individual job that ties into the collective, right? But when you've got that in the modern day, how much random creativity and relationships are going to be built in the final third specifically? I don't know.
It's too regiment. I think you're spot on. It's too regiment in that regard. But I just think with you lot, especially this weekend. Now, when you break it down, obviously, from an Arsenal fan's perspective, I don't know who that third player will be as well, because this is where City are annoying because Rodri and Foden have hardly kicked a ball this season, bro.
Exactly.
They've been in a hyperbolic chamber, bro. In fact, Rodri started the international game and against Inter. Foden, I think, got his first minutes, correct me if I'm wrong, against Inter. So they're fresh, bro. And that's why I agree with you. I think Rice works better with Jorginho, but I'm not one of these. I think with this country, we just focus on pace and power too much and athleticism. However, I think against that City midfield, away at their place, you kind of need that. And that's where Arteta has a conundrum because it's like Rice complements Jorginho. Jorginho complements Rice better. But then again, what I'm saying is a bit hypocritical because I'm saying Partey will be more equipped for the athleticism, but then he's losing his legs as well. So it's kind of like, it's a tough one. You know what? Arteta's got big decisions to make this weekend because look, let me be honest here. I do believe, I think it's a low-scoring game. I think City will win 1-0 with Haaland because I was looking at the last couple of games. And I was looking at the last couple of games. You lot have done well against him. I'm seeing Arsenal fans saying Haaland's not going to do nothing because he hasn't. Every football game's different. You can't keep going into games.
How life works, man.
Literally, bro. But I think it ends up being 1-0 City, and I do think Haaland scores. However, there's a way to lose because I think, look, if you lose, you know how the modern day is. You're going to get people trolling.
It's all over.
I think
I might even for the YouTube game, I might even title, my YouTube titles. The title race is all over on a mind games thing. But I agree with you. People are gonna do too much, man. If we win, I'm not gonna get excited. If we lose, we might look back in hindsight, but you have to move forward. It's too early for all of this stuff, man.
You don't want to lose at all, but if you lose 1-0, you have to ban.
It's how you lose, yeah.
It's how you lose, because if you lose 3-4-0 in that's when I think even for the players, the morale will be lowered. Doubt could start setting in. Can we really go again? Third season in a row in this race. I think that's one thing about football. Football fans are very fickle, but I feel like it can transmit into the dressing room at times. Do you know what I mean? I think your only saving grace this season, I looked at your picture, my brother was showing me, all your hard away games, you've cut bar us, because I think you've got us third to last game of the season. Spurs away, which you're going to say you normally get this business done, but you get, as in a rival, whatnot, next door neighbours away. You had Villa away, which were very good last season. You beat them. You now got City away. I think the back end of the season, this is why you don't need to stay in and around. Back in the season, all the big boys have to go to you lot. And Emirates is even I got to admit, Emirates is a fortress. I've not won.
You know what time it is. Martinelli's on the block. You know what time it is. You know what time. There's some shooters. Ask Liverpool shooters out here.
I've not won the last 2 years in the league. Obviously, when we come in the purple in the FA Cup, we sent you lot.
I've done the FA Cup thing, and then you got sourced by United, letting Kobe Mainoo do a thing. To be fair, it was lovely. It was lovely for United fans seeing Kobe Mainoo struggle in midfield in that recent game. I love the lad, but it was nice, man, because it was the first time that was a chance to really just annoy them in the same way of Saka. No, but you're right. The only thing that's the away games that I genuinely look out for is naturally North London derby, the Etihad, Anfield, as you said. Then when you get away from the traditional teams, I know United are not good at this moment, but we ain't got the best records at Old Trafford. I don't know why, but I always look at Brighton away. And for me, Southampton, like that Southampton game, I'm sure it comes in and around you lot. The last time we actually went Southampton away, I think in the first year we was kind of doing this title challenge thing. That's where we dropped dumb points again. And I don't want to be too harsh on my team because I don't expect you to win everything and win all of the 38 games. But to a degree, that is kind of what you have to do against City. Like, I've seen you lot get 90 odd points, still not win it. Last season for us wasn't to that scale of what you lot did in previous years, but deserved to win the Prem title, still leave with nothing. This is the margins that you're up against. And I think beyond the obvious of Klopp and your players, the experience that your players had, let alone at Liverpool, just what they've amassed. Our players are still essentially learning on the job. Like where this title challenge thing is, you're 2 seasons deep now. Where this Champions League thing is, you're 2 seasons deep. You compare that to the players you had at the time. Even someone like Trent, who kind of had to grow up on the job. You look around, Van Dijk's kind of done things, playing for his country and whatnot. Salah's been through good and bad moments. Mane, the same. And the list actually goes on. I'm not even boying him, but even someone like Robertson, he's been in a relegation fight where that's a serious sort of dressing room to be in, really, where you have to stand up. That's the difference, man. And yeah, like someone said here, Southampton's away is our last game of the season. Well, hey, Ramsdale might look like a prime Casillas over them times there, man. It's crazy.
And bro, I've clocked with both of our clubs, especially. It's like when we let players go, they just want to turn into Clark Kent against us, bro. Both of us have that problem, bro, and it's annoying. But I didn't even know your record was I know obviously they got the 3-3 thing at Emirates, but I thought away from home you lot were all right at Southampton. But I think, bro, overall what you're saying, I think you're spot on, bro. I genuinely think you're spot on with the title race and stuff like that. But I just think, for me, this Sunday, don't lose. Because I never go to Etihad thinking, you could call it loser mentality, but I never go and think, I'm not expecting a win. I know what I'm up against. Just don't lose. Do you get? But there is a slight blueprint to beat City. And I think you lot had a Trossard and Martinelli moment even last season and a couple seasons there. You've seen, I think, I've read something mad though.
Even Inter in the week as well, man.
Me, Inter could have won that game, bro. I think
they had half chances, yeah.
I think you have to be pragmatic to a certain extent, but I have to go for it because I've read a stat. City ain't lost it there. He had in like 2 years, bro. It's something mad, bro.
And the only thing that gives me kind of optimism to counteract that is our away form in the Premier League has been good. And it's weird, Roms, it's weird because for me, even a lot of people are getting onto me in my live stream. They're like, why are you not more confident for Atalanta? It's like, it's not that I'm not confident. In Europe, it's not that we can smack up any team at the Emirates. I'd prefer to play any tough game at the Emirates in Europe. In the Premier League, it's not that we can't win at the Emirates, but I just think we're a lot better away from home. We're a lot more switched on.
When you play in it, Emirates or their ground?
Their place. San Siro, man. We got to go San Siro, Saints. We got to go San Siro. We welcome PSG to our place. This is why I wish we beat Atalanta, which didn't happen, because if the PSG result goes south, it starts to get very spooky. The
Wait,
Inter game is third.
What's the word? The schedule of your Champions League game? Like, there's that order. Do you have PSG and Inter soon? Or
PSG next, then Inter, I think. In fact, let me actually look, man. Arsenal Champions League.
Mad.
I'm pretty sure PSG is the next one.
I'm assuming you had Inter at home, like they'll come to Emirates.
No. I'd love it at home. So what we've got on the 1st of October, our next Champions League game, we've got PSG at the Emirates. To be fair, it's 2 away games really. So yeah, I'm wrong actually. You got PSG at home, then you've got Shakhtar at home where you need to take 3 points off Shakhtar. Then you've got Inter away. Low key, Sporting Lisbon's not a given with Jokeres, and the last 2 times we've gone to Portuguese club away. It's spooky still. Yeah, it's spooky. Yeah. It can get long. The only saving grace is the home games. Like respectfully to PSG, I think they could beat us, but I'm kind of confident against them. I think we can do something there. Shakhtar, we need to win. There's no excuses. You know, Dynamo Zagreb, we need to win. Girona away in Spain, we need to win. The rest is off. And even that October starts to look dodgy for us because you've got PSG, Southampton, Bournemouth away, Shakhtar the next. Then we play you at home. Then we go to Newcastle away. Then it's Inter away, and then it's Chelsea away. So October to November is spooky. And now Mr. Captain Odegaard's not about. Boy,
that is
boy.
But bro, listen, back to the weekend. I just say for Arsenal fans, just don't lose in it. I'll never count a man for getting a point at Attack. This is what I was saying originally before we went on to the Champions League games. There's a blue. When I researched how long they've not lost at home, it was 2 years. The last team to beat them there was Brentford. I remember Wolves did 1 year with Adama. I don't know if you remember, you got a last minute thing here.
Yeah.
There's a blueprint. Be pragmatic, but you still have to go to it. Go for it.
See, Palace and Brentford play all right over them sides as well.
Yeah, Palace as well. I remember Townsend 1 year scoring a mad goal from distance, and then I think they clutched a point last season as well. So there's a blueprint to beat them. I just think you lot might have to be I'm not saying go home, but slightly more attacking than last season, because it's not impossible that you can beat City. Anything can happen in this game, but I just think Odegaard's a big miss. But the thing is, where I rate you, you do have the best defense in Europe, and if you really want to shut them out, I actually think, for me, this ends. I think they beat you 1-0, but if I had to give you another scoreline, my second scoreline, it's 0-0, bro. I think it will be the same as last year. I think it either ends 1-0 City or 0-0. If I'm being honest, I can't see you lot scoring. I can't see you lot scoring.
Havertz, we trust, man. I swear you bagged against these lot in the Champions League final. Havertz, Saka, I need you lot. You know what? Martinelli's bagging. Martinelli, Sterling, Jesus, come on. If you used to play for City, turn up, man, please. I'm tired of losing at the Etihad, man. I'll be real. I'm tired of taking nothing from the Etihad. Like, as good, take nothing away from City and Pep. And I know, you know, there's the whole backdrop of the Premier League. I just want to win, man. Like, I loved our top 6 record last season. I don't think we're going to have that. But to be unbeaten in the top 6, that was something I haven't seen for a minute. That's something I've not been accustomed to. Top 6 games used to be a write-off for Arsenal Football Club. We used to look at our fixture calendar and just write them off. Yeah, like City, Liverpool, all of them. Even to a degree, in the last couple of years, thankfully, it's gone now. The North London derbies is brazy, man. I'm going to back my boys and say, you know what? With my heart, I would say 1-0. If I had to bet, I think 1-0 City, but I'm going to go with Chess, man. My last question before I let you get out of it. Question for Roms. Out of all of Arsenal's defenders, which one would you take? Bearing in mind, they all walk into a team. They all walk into that team.
All of them bar Gabriel. Gabriel don't take Van Dijk's change.
Van Dijk don't play on the right hand side. Kanate, anime boy.
That's what we said.
Kanate boy, come on.
It would be Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Trent, bro. I still have Trent over White. White's cold.
Trent's there. Rice can play as a 6. Trent go forward, bro. Cook with Saka. It could be lit. Our keeper might even take Alisson's chain. It's looking spooky, Alisson, right now.
I've got the receipt. I said, yeah, sometimes you can just tell him, ball. I feel like people that like to use trophies to quantify one's ability, which I hear, but I feel like when you're early in your career, you can just tell a man's a baller. I remember Saliba's first 3 or 4 games when he scored that goal against Bournemouth. I said then this guy's already top 3.
New light skin youths on the block, man.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best in the world, bro. That Saliba's a joke. He's a joke. So to answer your question, it's him out of all your back 4 first, bro. And like I said, if you don't start winning, and you know this deep down, if you don't start winning, he's a Galactico, bro. And you won't begrudge him for it either. It's like Trent, bro. If we don't match Trent's ambitions and start signing, man, once the Salahs and the Van Dijks go, if he goes Madrid, I'm not cussing him.
Do you think, before I let you get out of here as well, because I've seen that with Trent. Trent, apparently, you know, one Real Madrid want to sign Saliba / Romero, one of the two, Trent and Alfonso Davies.
In there as well.
Rodri in there. They want to do a madness. And I see Trent's trying to buy a club as well.
I see that today, bro. Trent's thinking beyond football, innit? But
I know Trent's rich, but like football club money, is that you? It must be investors. Trent's money is long.
It's him and his two brothers. They've got like a certain business enterprise one. It's not him solely. His brothers I think it's a family thing. So
Mbappe's got his own thing as well.
Yeah, they bought a share into they bought that Alpine car thing for Formula One. Trent's got a share into Formula One. He's got his own initiative as well. He's doing a couple things, but bro, the way I see it with that contract stuff. Say that again.
He's got his head switched on, bro.
Yeah, he's got his head because bro, football's a short career. We know
short career. Average year is 9 years, man. But still, he's 20, bro. Trent's only 25. He's been around for years, man.
He's my age. Remember I was speaking about earlier in the stream. Your fortune could be someone else's misfortune. Remember, he only got in the team because Nathaniel Klein then got injured. Then Trent come in and took the opportunity by the scruff of its neck.
A bit like when Rashford comes to you under Van Gaal United. Sometimes you gotta just take your opportunities.
But in terms of our contracts, bro, this is gross negligence because this reminds me of Wenger with you lot back in the day when you let your best players just run down their contract, or you let them have a year left and you're selling them for peanuts on what they should be worth. Because for me, Alisson cuts next season to Saudi. I think we'll get a hand because he's got 2 years left. Sorry, not one. We'll get like a handsome 30.
Yeah, because he signed the Valencia keeper. He's probably that's with Alisson leaving in mind, probably.
Exactly, because he comes in next summer. For me, I think Salah signs an extension, but I think VVD and Trent are the two to go. Which for me wouldn't make sense. Yeah, bro. I think Trent and
Trent be the one to stay, man.
Do you reckon?
Because he's obviously like all of them have an affiliation to Liverpool, but when you break it down, at the end of the day, it's a job for all of them. But Salah, it's a job. You're not born in England. You didn't come through the academy. The same goes for Van Dijk. And you lot are kind of like, what, they're on the wrong side of 30. I hear it. Trent, you're 25. You've got an attraction to Liverpool. Do you want to be part of the rebuild? He's not a coward if he leaves for free, but do you want to leave on the cowardly thing? Like the club, not that they owe you or you owe them, but you've just left on the free, kind of through the back door. Don't you want to get an important fee? Don't get twisted. If Real Madrid genuinely are interested in you and they want you, then hey, it's Real Madrid. Like what we were saying with Saliba, but I think Trent's probably the more positive. As an outsider looking in, I'm not informed, but I think Trent will stay personally. Yeah. It depends on that level of Madrid interest, though. Do they really want him, or is it paper talk?
And that's the thing. I think if he signs a deal, then he will stay. Some people are saying he might sign a deal just for us to protect his resale value and still go. But if you look historically, Real Madrid never paid the big bucks for defenders, bro. That's why they walked away from the Euro deal. When United fans are getting gassed, we got one over Madrid. No. They still want to pay the money.
They leave the way. Yeah. They said, forget all of that. Say, exactly. Even waiting a year for Mbappe or two.
Exactly, bro. Like they don't. I've beat it. They don't like. You'll never see like the biggest transfers. I think in recent history, your Neymar, your Mbappe, your João Felixes, your Coutinho's. They've never been to Madrid. Madrid don't like spending big.
Probably only Tchouaméni, maybe Camavinga, maybe. I don't know how much they work for.
I think they were both 60 max. Correct me if I'm going to chat, but I think they were 60 max. But for me, I think if Trent signs a deal, then he'll stay. But bro, I think. Actually, I just remembered. No, his deal runs out in these, so he has to sign one ASAP. Otherwise, he will go there. But the way he's partying with them in the summer with Mbappe, Bellingham out in LA, it's not looking good, bro. For me, I think Salah is the one because I think we know you can't replace Salah's output. The only man that you slag could is the man of at your place, Saka, but he won't come to us. Do you get? So it's a thing where I think Salah will sign. I think Van Dijk, Alisson, and Trent will leave, bro. And for me, it's gross negligence that we've let it even get to this. For me, when this summer window opened, I said, before we even sign anyone, big up Sammy, Camel's 30, Shills 80. For me, before we even sign anyone, we needed to get them contracts, sorted out, but we didn't. And now we need to see how the season pans out, bro. We need to, because, bro, from January, they can speak to clubs. And before you blink, we're in January, bro. We're only 3 months away, 3-4 months away.
The year's almost done.
Exactly, bro. Time flies. Time flies. It's looking scary, but yeah, man. Hopefully Trent stays. Hopefully.
Is what it is. And with that, people, it's been a great show. Roms, it's always brilliant to be here. You lot in the chat as well. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Let people know they can follow you and find you, my guy.
So at the moment, you can find me on. I've got a podcast with the man. The last 2-3 weeks, we've had to put a back burner on it. That's obviously issues in the background. But if you go to Total Media 851, I've got a weekly podcast on there. Just watch the episode so far, and you'll catch me with Pots a bit later. I think we're going to do a Premier League preview. I'll be on there for about half an hour. But yeah, that's where you can find me, people, man.
So you know where to find the guy. Make sure you're following people. Again, I'm sure you lot agree and disagree with a lot of what we said. Make sure you hit in the comment section. And on that, people, I'm back at 3:45. We're going to obviously focus on what the Arsenal news is. And then, yeah, man. But on that note, Roms, everyone, bless, man. Peace.
There's always